Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into some of the most disturbing kid toys that got banned. You won't believe some of these. We're talking toys that spit fire, toys that could have been deadly, and toys that are just plain creepy. We're going on a wild ride through the toy graveyard, so buckle up. Get ready to have your childhood memories either totally ruined or extremely validated because some of this stuff is straight out of a horror movie. Okay, first up we've got Aqua Dots. These were a hugely popular toy back in the mid-2000s. They seemed innocent enough, right? Little colorful beads that kids could use to create all sorts of fun designs. The idea was simple. Arrange the beads in any pattern you liked, then spray them with water to fuse them together. It was a creative and engaging activity for children. But here's the catch. These beads were coated with a chemical that unbelievably metabolized into a date rape drug when ingested. Yes, you heard that right. A toy for kids had a hidden, dangerous secret. Kids being kids would sometimes put these beads in their mouths, and when they did, they would get extremely sick. Parents were horrified to find their children suddenly unwell. Some children even fell into comas. Imagine the terror of a parent seeing their child in such a state, all because of a toy that was supposed to be safe. The craziest part is that the company knew about the chemical but tried to cover it up. They were aware of the risks but chose to ignore them, prioritizing profits over safety. Thankfully, after several incidents and public outcry, these dangerous toys were finally yanked off the shelves. It was a relief, but the damage had already been done for many families. News reports covered the story extensively, and concerned parents everywhere demanded answers. How could something like this happen? How could a toy meant for innocent fun turn into a nightmare? This incident led to stricter safety regulations and more rigorous testing for children's toys. It was a wake-up call for the industry, highlighting the importance of ensuring that products are safe before they reach the hands of children. Today, parents can feel a bit more reassured knowing that there are better safeguards in place. But the story of Aqua Dots remains a stark reminder of what can go wrong when safety is overlooked. Next up, we've got a classic, the Cabbage Patch Kid. But hold on, this isn't just any ordinary Cabbage Patch Kid. We're diving into the world of the Snack Time Cabbage Patch Kid, a toy that left a lasting impression on many kids and parents alike. But not just any Cabbage Patch Kid, we're talking about the Snack Time Cabbage Patch Kid. This particular version was designed to be interactive with a mechanical mouth that could eat plastic snacks. Sounds fun, right? Well, it was, until things took a turn for the worse. This thing was a straight-up menace. Imagine a toy that looks innocent enough but has a hidden dark side. The Snack Time Cabbage Patch Kid had a mechanical mouth that seemed to have a mind of its own. It had this mechanical mouth that would eat plastic snacks. The idea was that kids could feed their doll, and it would munch away happily. But the reality was far from the playful experience it promised. Sounds kinda cool, right? Wrong. The toy's mechanism was prone to malfunctioning. Instead of just eating the plastic snacks, it would sometimes grab onto other things. And that's where the problems began. The problem was, this thing didn't have an off switch. Once it started chomping, it wouldn't stop. There was no way to turn it off, which led to some pretty scary situations. So, kids would be playing with it, and it would just keep on chomping. Imagine the horror of a toy that won't stop moving no matter what you do. It was like something out of a nightmare for many children. There were reports of it getting kids' fingers, hair, even their eyelashes stuck in its mouth. Parents were horrified as they watched their children's hair get tangled in the toy's relentless jaws. Can you imagine the trauma? Kids were terrified of their own toys. What was supposed to be a fun and interactive experience turned into a source of fear and anxiety. Mommy, my doll ate my hair. Yikes. The Snack Time Cabbage Patch Kid quickly became infamous for all the wrong reasons. It serves as a reminder that sometimes even the most innocent-looking toys can have a dark side. Remember when those CSI shows were all the rage? Well, some genius decided to capitalize on that with a CSI fingerprint examination kit. Sounds educational, right? Except for one tiny detail, it contained asbestos. Yeah, you heard that right, asbestos. The stuff that can give you lung cancer. Apparently someone thought it would be a good idea to include a known carcinogen in a children's toy. Needless to say, this one got pulled pretty quickly, but seriously, who thought that was a good idea in the first place? The Easy Bake Oven? A childhood staple, right? Well, not so much the 2007 version. This thing was a recipe for disaster. It had this design flaw where the heating element was way too exposed. Kids would stick their little fingers in there to grab their cookies or whatever, and bam! Third-degree burns. There were even reports of kids getting their fingers trapped in the oven. Talk about a recipe for disaster. Hasbro ended up recalling millions of these things. Remember magnetics, those magnetic building sets that were all the rage? Well, they were fun in games until kids started swallowing the magnets. And these weren't your average refrigerator magnets. These things were tiny and super strong. If a kid swallowed more than one, they could attract each other inside their intestines and cause serious damage. We're talking intestinal perforations, blockages, the whole 9 yards. Not exactly the kind of magnetic attraction you want in a toy. Remember those toys, the Sky Dancers? They were these dolls with these big, hard plastic wings that would spin around and launch into the air. They seemed cool at first, but they quickly turned into weapons of mass destruction. These things would fly around erratically, smacking into kids, pets, furniture, you name it. They were like little plastic tornadoes of pain. People were getting black eyes, broken noses, you name it. It got so bad that they were banned in several countries. I guess some things are better left grounded. Okay, lawn darts. These things were just a bad idea from the start. We're talking giant weighted darts that you would chuck through the air. What could possibly go wrong, right? Well, a lot. As it turns out, people were getting impaled, losing eyes, even dying from these things. It's like playing darts with a javelin. Unsurprisingly, they were banned in the US and Canada back in the 80s. But seriously, who thought it was a good idea to give kids giant, pointy projectiles in the first place? Clackers, also known as clacker balls or kerbangers, were all the rage in the 1960s and 70s. These toys were incredibly popular among kids and teenagers, becoming a staple in playgrounds and backyards across the country. They were these two hard acrylic balls attached to a string, and you would swing them together to make a satisfying clacking sound. The goal was to get the balls to hit each other as many times as possible, creating a rhythmic and almost hypnotic noise that could be quite addictive. Sounds harmless enough, right? Wrong. While the concept seemed simple and fun, the reality was far more dangerous. The force of the balls colliding could be quite intense, and it didn't take long for the dangers to become apparent. These things were notorious for shattering upon impact, sending shards of hard plastic flying everywhere. Imagine the surprise and horror when a seemingly innocent toy turned into a mini explosion of sharp fragments. Kids were getting cuts, bruises, and worst of all, eye injuries. Parents and teachers quickly realized that these toys were more trouble than they were worth. The injuries ranged from minor scratches to severe eye damage, causing a wave of concern among communities. It's like playing catch with hand grenades. The unpredictability of when and how the clacker balls would shatter made them a ticking time bomb in the hands of children. The thrill of the game was overshadowed by the looming threat of injury. They were eventually banned in the US and Canada, and for good reason. The ban came as a relief to many parents who had been worried sick about the potential dangers. The clacker balls were removed from store shelves, and safer alternatives were sought to replace the hazardous toy. The story of clacker balls serves as a reminder of how important it is to consider safety in toy design. What might seem like a harmless bit of fun can sometimes have unforeseen consequences. Always be cautious and prioritize safety, especially when it comes to children's toys. Remember those yo-yo water balls? They were these soft, squishy balls filled with water that you would swing around on a string. They seemed harmless enough, right? Wrong. The problem was the string. Kids would get the string wrapped around their necks, and because the balls were filled with water, they were too heavy to easily remove. This led to several cases of strangulation and near-death experiences. Not exactly the kind of fun you want your kids to have. They were eventually banned in several countries, and for good reason. Last but not least, we have the granddaddy of all dangerous toys, the Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Lab. This thing was the real deal. It was a science kit that was sold in the 1950s, and it actually contained real radioactive materials. We're talking uranium ore, a Geiger counter, the whole shebang. It's like something out of a comic book. Amazingly, this thing was actually on the market for a while before people realized how insanely dangerous it was. Can you imagine the lawsuits if this thing came out today? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more crazy content. See you next time.